Everyone, Michael Ryder. Yeah, I just wanted to run you through a quick example of what it looks like to go from start to finish using Good2Go between a request for a quote, getting to a final printable file. All right, so this is just an example, so it ain't perfect as far as the data we're going to input or anything like that, but it'll give you an idea of the controls and how somebody could accomplish this in Good2Go today. So it all starts right here from the printer's website. This is just a demonstration website that we have for Progressive Prints. And here they can request a quote or submit a file for a job. In this case, we're going to click on the request a quote. Once you're into the interface, you just put in your email. Again, this is the print buyer. There we go. Here they would put in their customer information, and then they get to a screen where they can either A, input the job details or upload a file. In this case, we're just going to put in the job details. We don't have the file yet, so we're going to say this is going to be a direct mail. Quantity to be printed, 3,000. And the size of this in inches, and as you can see there, we can handle several different measurement systems, 7 by 5. And then we'll get down to the number of pages in the job. We'll say 2, and it's going to be double-sided. So now they've described the general layout. Here they can put in some comments. In this case, let's go ahead and put in some comments appropriate for this job. Please recommend a paper stock appropriate for a direct mail likely. I will upload the database later if I accept your quote. Period. And they can put in a due date. Next, they get a summary again so they can review that, make sure everything is good, and submit that right to Good2Go. Now they've been assigned a order number 1143, and that's it from their side. Now, just so you know, they're going to get themselves a receipt, and you can see that right here, job quote submitted. This is the email that would go back to the print buyer, gives them direct access to all the information about that job right there. Let's go ahead and go back to the printer side over here, and here we can see that the printer has gotten also a notification that somebody requested a quote. In this case, Michael Ryer has requested that quote. They have not uploaded a file yet, so they can just click that view now, and that's going to take them right into that job or that quote information. And where it will take them is right here, right to this page. So here they can see everything the customer input, including their comments, so they can see everything there. And that can be used to actually generate the quote. Now, of course, they can go back and forth to the customer, ask questions through the Good2Go interface if need be, or call the customer directly and update everything about that right here, so that the printer can just go in and update whatever they need to update here about this particular quote. Like, let's say they decide to put in 16-point stock mat. There they go. So they get that input, and now everything's been updated on that, including the comments now that it's going to be a 16-point stock mat. So they got this, but they generated a quote, and we need to get that quote back to the customer for their final review. So they've saved that quote as a PDF. Let's go ahead and add that quote to the job. So I'm just going to find it here. I got a PDF file that I call my quote sample. So let's just go ahead and drag and drop that right into Good2Go. And then I can go back to my order. Let's go right here into the quote review and refresh it. Now I can get a hold of that quote. And I can send that off to the client for review. Now, of course, you can see there's a nice message already put in there. You can modify that if you want to for that specific quote request. But in this case, we'll just send it off. It automatically has a deadline attached to it, giving the customer that opportunity to review that quote. Now, one thing I want you to notice here is before we leave, notice this icon right here. That's for that job. That indicates that that is for a quote. Okay, so now let's go over and play print buyer and let's approve that job. So let's there it is. Now we got the quote approval requested. There's the message. They can now click to review that. Notice one thing about the print buyer. They never have to log in to get at any of the requested items. Everything's already taken care of for them. They just click and go. Now they get to review everything here. They can then download the quote and check it out. In this case, we think everything is okay. They'll certify that that's good to go, and they have approved it. There we go. So now that job is approved. So let's go ahead and switch back to the print buyer or to the printer. And here we can see that that job is still listed as a quote, but let's refresh. Now it's converted to an order automatically. So that's now been converted to an actual order. So now we can get the client to go ahead and upload their files for their job. Now, what they're going to get, the customer, is they're going to get this nice little job summary. As you can see here, they can upload files from the job summary. So let's go ahead and send that off to the client right now. That way the client has that job summary and they can go ahead and upload their files. So we go back over here. Customer again is going to get a nifty little email here in a second. There's their email. Again, they don't have to do anything except just click on it to go ahead and upload their files. When they click upload their files, notice this. We take them right back to the wizard where they get all the information they input before. Now they can drag and drop their file into this. And now their file is now attached to this job. Now, if they also, let's say, have a customer list that they want to add, they can go ahead and add file. And we'll just put in here customer list, just like that. But let's go ahead and put in our customer list. And we'll just put in, now here we just got a customer list right here, a CSV file. So we'll just go ahead and drag and drop that into Good to Go. And you can see there, we don't support the file for preview, but we do support that file. We give the name of the file and we give the size of that file. In this case, it's only 26 kilobytes. So they can go ahead now and submit this back to the printer, and that's all updated right there. So now they've uploaded their file and they've uploaded their customer list. Going back into Good to Go, of course, the printer is now going to get notified that the client has uploaded a file. There they can see the file, the order number, the client. You can see the file itself, and they got a direct download link to that file. And they can click the View Now button, which of course takes them right back here to the job details. So if they go through, and let's go ahead and refresh this screen real quick. Now we can see here that everything's been updated with the actual file specs. We can also see that we got the customer list and we got the actual direct mail piece. So that gives us the two different files that are associated with this job. So now we can go ahead and we can look through the pre-flight results, and we can see one problem right here. This file is a completely different size from what the customer says it is. So if I need to review that, I can go here, show details, which takes me to a preview of the file. I can see here that looks like they got bleed set up, and that looks like it's been done almost to size with the bleed. Let's check out the pre-flight. They do got an 1/8 inch bleed, but the the size of that file is far different from what we need. So we're going to need to make sure prepress checks that out and make sure that it will actually fit if scaled down to the right size. Otherwise, we'll have to get the customer to make a change there. But you can see here all the information we're providing on the pre-flight side about that file gives the printer everything they need to know about that file, including the preview and the capability to download that file directly from Good2Go. But let's say we had a question too on part of this file. It's like, oh, do they really want this in 2022? We can put a little note here. Do you want this to be 2023? So let's go back to the job and let's go to the preview. Let's go ahead and take that job right here, the postcard number 10, and I'm going to send that back to them for review. So you can see there the printer can communicate back to the client with the markups and ask them to do something. In this case, I want them to review that. And again, they see that message. They go right into Good2Go. There's the message originally. There's the circle. Do you want this to be 2023? They can type in and they can select
We'll check
changes
that out.
right there. So now what's going to happen on the printer side? Of course, we go back over here in Good2Go. We're going to record that needs changes right there. We're also going to show that in a couple other places too, just so you know here. If we go to the status page, again, the status page is going to show you the latest status changes in order automatically. And it's not just for a single user. If you got multiple users here, it's going to show you the status of all the files by all the users of the system. So if you're monitoring in customer service or you're monitoring in prepress what's going on, you can see the status at any given point in time. And you can also take these jobs and assign them to another user. So you can have a way to actually assign a job from one user to another. So let's say like customer service got this back and now they want to go ahead and send that off to prepress to get them to take a look at it. I can just come under here and say, you know, I'm going to assign that task just like that. And they can assign that task to another team member. In this case, I'll assign it right here. There we go. So now that user has gotten a message saying, please do that. But keep in mind, when they go under this file and they take a look at all the annotations are going to be right there, as well as they can go in and look at the history of that and see all the history that's gone on with that file, so that they know exactly what's going on, what has transpired. Nothing's buried in email. It's all right here in Good2Go. So with that all said, let's just, for the sake of argument, we'll go back to our file list here. And let's say we now have a revision. So we're going to now upload a revision for that. And we're going to do that right here and now. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that link, which takes me to that revision upload. And I'm just going to say that's our revision. Now, of course, it's just the same file we're uploading to get version 2. But we're going to show that revision right there. And let's close that. And if we refresh this screen again here, I need to get this over so I can actually see it. There we go. Refresh it. We can see that now that status has changed to new. Now the CSR can confirm that that revision has been made. And they can go back in and preview it, make sure it's been remade. Then they can send it off for review to the client. You know, please go ahead and approve this for final print. Send the email. Of course, the customer is going to come along. They're going to now get another email back over here. And there it is right there. And now they can go ahead and give that final approval They look it all over, everything. Let's just pretend everything's been changed just the way they want it. They click on the click here to approve this document is ready for approval.
Good to go.
And away they go. If I come back here to my order and let's just go right back to the specifications page, we can see that everything's ready to go. Right back over here, we're all approved, ready to go. So I can come here and switch the status and let prepress know that this job is actually ready to go to production, and go under here, and I can now assign that job off the prepress and tell them it's good for print, and away it goes. So there you go. That's what you can do in Good2Go today to walk you from start to finish, how you can use Good2Go to not only get the files into the system, get the quotes into the system, get the approvals into the system, but also to manipulate and use the tools to communicate with the client, keep the history in there so that everything's in one spot. So you don't have to keep going back and forth. So there you go. There's what it looks like in Good2Go. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.